So you're thinking about moving to Lubbock, Texas, and you may have heard that the cost of living in Lubbock is a little bit cheaper than maybe most cities or surrounding cities here in Texas. But you want to know a little bit more in detail what that means. Well, today in this video, I'm going to talk all things the cost of living here in Lubbock so that you can make an informative decision for when you move to Lubbock, Texas. And we're going to get after it right now. Hey, I'm Sam Riddle with Brick and Loft Realty here in Lubbock, Texas. And if you want to know everything there is to know about living in Lubbock, Texas, eating, sleeping, playing, pros, cons, good, bad, everything about Lubbock, well then be sure to tap that bell for notifications and hit that subscribe button so that you can be the first to know when a new video drops. Also, I get calls, texts, emails every single day from people just like you looking to make their move to Lubbock, Texas. So whether you're looking to move in 9 days or 90 days, feel free, please give me a call, text, or email. I'd love the opportunity to talk to you and your family about making a smooth move here to Lubbock. So as I mentioned, we are going to talk about all things economy today. So here in Lubbock, I mentioned this before in a previous video, but we are about 2% less with the cost of living compared to other cities in the state of Texas, and then about 9% lower than the United States average of the cost of living. So that means that your dollar goes a little bit further. For example, if you made $100,000 in Dallas, we are about 14% lower than Dallas. So you'd get a almost $15,000 raise if you move here to Lubbock because everything is just a little less expensive. Housing, food, gas, I mean, you name it, it's probably going to be a little bit less expensive, except for maybe taxes, but we'll get into that in a second. But, no state income tax here in Texas, as I'm sure you know as you're going through your research. However, the median average, or the average income for somebody that lives here in Lubbock is about $54,000 to $55,000. And you may be thinking, oh my gosh, what can I do with $55,000? How do these people live off of that? Can they buy a house? Is that possible? And the answer is absolutely yes. Here in Lubbock, you can get a brand new construction home for about $250,000. Now, there are some builders that will do it for a little less, but just to put into perspective, you don't have to go up to $500,000 to $600,000 like you maybe would in other cities or other states that are surrounding us. So your dollar stretches a little bit further because you're able to get a new home. And I'm not talking, some crappy built homes that you don't want to live in. No, these are in good areas that are growing here in Lubbock. Big builders are coming here, national builders, but we also have amazing local builders that we can always get you in touch with if you do decide to build. But I just wanted to put into perspective, hey, what the median cost is compared to that of a bigger city like Dallas. So I did just mention that you can get, a newer construction home for $250,000. Well, that's also the median sales price here in Lubbock. So $250,000, give or take, is going to be about the average price of a home here in Lubbock. Now, of course, we have homes that range up to about $2 million. We don't necessarily see a whole lot of homes that go above the $2 million mark, but also too, we have homes that are lower than that. But $250,000 is a safe number if you are thinking about moving here and you maybe don't know how long you're going to stay in Lubbock, or you don't want to put all your money into a home. Well, there are affordable options in great locations by reputable builders, so you know that you're getting a good home. And the average rent, so say you wanted to move here in rent, the average rent here in Lubbock is about $1,100. Now, of course, like I said, with the home prices, it can be lower and it can be higher. But we're seeing that really is the average that people are paying for a 3-bedroom, 2-bath home. If you want to get into maybe South Lubbock, which are going to be newer, updated, modern homes, you're going to see a little bit of an increase in your rental. If you want a 2-car garage, if you want to be there for an extended stay, all those factors will play into it. But if you want to be maybe close to campus in Central Lubbock is going to have a little bit lower rent, which nothing is wrong with these homes. They're just built in the 40s and 50s. Some have been completely updated and are beautiful, where you can get a little bit more for rent. But if you are looking to rent, that's about to expect what you can pay for a 3-bedroom, 2-bath home here in Lubbock. The average grocery bill is about 3% less than the national average. So you can get a little bit more of affordable prices on things that you use every single day. Now, I talked about HEB. HEB, if you don't know it, is an amazing grocery store based out of Texas, and it is phenomenal. But if you're moving from a different city and maybe have a Trader Joe's, we don't have a Trader Joe's, but very similar. HEB, they do have some fresh organic options that are fairly inexpensive. So you don't have to spend a whole lot on healthy eating here. But there also are some grocery stores that are a little less expensive. If you just want the bare minimum basics, there are some of those other grocery stores available to you. So you don't have to spend a lot. And there, of course, there's a Sprouts, there is some other grocery stores that are a little higher end. So if you are used to spending on some of those grocery stores, we have those options. Some people think, living here in Lubbock, we don't have many options. In reality, we have a ton of options. I'm so glad we got an HEB. And I just think as our economy and our population grows, the more we are going to see more businesses come into Lubbock and provide us with those options. Now, I wanted to just talk a little bit about oil, the price of gas. So we are located close to Midland and Odessa, and also some of the oil fields in New Mexico. And Midland and Odessa, if you don't know, are 2 major cities here in the Panhandle, which is a little bit that cater to oil. And so we are a little bit closer to them, which means our gas is a little bit cheaper. I'm not saying it's $1 or anything, but our average is about $3 at the time of this video. Now, of course, that does change, but we are a little bit less than the national average due to our proximity to these locations that house the majority of Texas and the U.S. oil. So next, I wanted to talk about our property taxes and what that looks like, because if you do move here, you might see that we do have a little higher property taxes versus maybe where you're coming from. Now, typically here in Lubbock ISD, which is in Central Lubbock, you're going to be at about a 2%, give or take, 2.5 or 2.3%, 2.1% in LISD. And if you're in Cooper or Friendship, Friendship is West Lubbock, and then Cooper is going to be Southeast Lubbock, Cooper is going to be around a 2.5, Friendship is going to be around a 2.75. So that's going to be a good estimate of what your property taxes are. However, a little tip, Lubbock, as you may or may not know, it takes about 15 to 20 minutes to get anywhere you want to go around Lubbock. And so the reason why I say that is there are tons of little towns surrounding Lubbock that only take about 5 to 10 minutes to get to from Lubbock. And if you do want to live in a smaller town, there's tons of new growth in these smaller towns. One smaller town that I am very fond of is Idalou. It's about 10 minutes from here, and their property taxes are going to be significantly lower. So if you did want to lower your property tax, but also live in a newer home, maybe on some acreage, a lot of the smaller towns surrounding us are going to be on some acreage, then your property taxes are going to be a little bit lower. So that's a little tip if you do want to avoid some of those higher property taxes, but still be in great school districts. Idalou School District's phenomenal, so is New Home School District. Then those are two great options that you can choose from, and just to kind of get your tax bill a little bit lower. And next, I want to talk about the price of utilities. So we are about 3% lower than the national average in utilities. Our average utility bill per household is about $150. Now, we have one electric company here in Lubbock as of right now. We are talks of getting a second major utility company to house Central Lubbock, and that is coming to the end of fall of 2023, which is this year. And But that does take into consideration, the reason why I brought that up is because it does take into consideration your water, your electric, and your sewer and trash bills. So that does encompass all three of those. Now, of course, that does go higher in some of the bigger homes. Our gas bill is separate, but typically our gas bill is a little bit lower because not a lot of homes here in Lubbock they do have gas, but they don't use a lot of gas equipment here when they're building, especially on the new construction or the older homes. Really, your hot water heater. Some of the newer homes are putting electric stoves in, which I know can be a no deal for some people. I love a gas stove too, which it might be able to be added depending on the location, but that can be what you can expect to some of the newer homes or also some of the pre-existing homes that are in central Lubbock. And the reason why I say central Lubbock is those homes are a little bit older, less energy efficient, so your bill may be a little bit more. Obviously, your bill will be a little bit more if you have bigger square footage as well too. There are some parts of South Lubbock that is on a completely different grid. That is South Plains Electric Co-op. That does not include water, and so that will be a separate bill. I wanted to bring it up just in case you do move to some of these areas. You can kind of have clarification on which utility provider you can be with. Now, as of right now, we cannot choose our utility companies. Wherever you are zoned, that is your utility company. That is going to change in 2023 in the fall. So until then, we are stuck with what we have, and that's kind of our average utility bills here in Lubbock. Now, lastly, I just wanted to touch on this for a little bit, is healthcare. We are about 4% less than the national average. We have amazing hospitals here in Lubbock, and we have UMC and Covenant, heart hospitals. I mean, tons of people actually do move here for our medical scene. We are one of the major hospitals in North Texas into New Mexico, where we're the biggest trauma hospital for a lot of these neighboring states. So we do have amazing healthcare. So if you are moving here and you're worried about healthcare or finding a great doctor, we have an amazing medical field here. I hope this video has helped you understand our cost of living here, because I know a lot of people might say Lubbock does have a lower cost of living, but I wanted to break it down and tell you exactly, the percentages compared to the rest of the state and the rest of the US. And so if you found this video helpful, I'd love to know. I'd also, love if you press that subscribe button and the bell so that you can be the first to know when a new video drops. And until then, I'll see you around.